What's up, you D-Gens? Welcome back to the Us versus Them channel. I'm your host, Vince, and today we're going to talk about Dana White Contender Series Season 9, Episode 7. I know it's been a while since I've seen you guys. We was off last week with no UFC fights, and we did decent last week on the Contender Series, but we're looking to pick up right where we left off and smack a parlay, so fuck it, let's get into it. First fight, we have Rafael Tobias versus Yair de Oliveira. Tobias is sitting at he's the biggest favorite of the card. He's at minus 470, and Oliveira is at a plus 360 underdog. Guys, there really isn't a whole lot of footage to break down for Yair de Oliveira. He's 6-0 as a fighter. He hasn't really fought anybody. A couple of his wins were 2016, then he took like 4 years off, came back, and is steady churning out 2 fights a year since then. So, I mean, he really hasn't, like I said, there's not a whole lot of footage on him, and even the footage that is available, first off, the 2016 fights, I'm not even going to watch that. People change and evolve as fighters. But another thing, too, is, he's not really fighting anybody worth value. That's not to say that Rafael Tobias is either, though. He's 13-1 as a fighter. His only loss was in LFA. The only time he fought in a major organization, he loses. So that's not really a good look either. To be honest with you guys, neither of these guys are super impressive. It makes it kind of hard to pick the winner on this one. If you guys saw their stare downs, you're going to see that Rafael Tobias is going to have a size advantage, but he also probably will have maybe like a lighter man's skill advantage as well, just because he's fought at 205 the whole time, whereas De Oliveira has fought at 220, 225, 245, all these weird weights that the Brazilians do. Studying guys on the Brazilian regional scene is very tricky, and both these guys come from the Brazilian regional scene, and it's really hard to gauge the level of competition that these guys are fighting at. Like I said, between the two of them, only one guy has competition outside of like that Brazilian regional scene, and that's Tobias, and he lost that fight. He got knocked out. So really, really hard. It's kind of tricky to pick a winner on this one. When it comes to the striking, though, I will say that De Oliveira has the advantage in the striking for sure. I think he's like a striking coach as well. Maybe that's why he took some time off. I don't really know exactly. But, so he'll have the striking advantage. Tobias is definitely going to have the wrestling or the grappling advantage. So if this fight is a win by knockout, I'm leaning towards De Oliveira, the underdog. If it goes any other way, I'm leaning towards Tobias. I really only see the path to victory for Oliveira to be by knockout. But, guys, this is a fight, and this is Dana White's Contender Series. So people are going to go out there headstrong and go out there to urgently implement their game plan, or their whatever their offense is. So that prop for De Oliveira by knockout, that's sitting at a plus 550. I really like that. But reasonably, I do believe that Tobias is going to win this fight. I think he's going to have the size advantage. Like I said, he's probably going to have the cardio advantage as well. He just looks like he's in better cardio shape. So give me Tobias on this one by submission. That prop is currently sitting at plus 140. Next fight up, we have Javier Reyes versus Justin Torres. Reyes is sitting at a minus 198 favorite, and Torres is at a plus 164 underdog. Guys, this is a short notice fight for Torres. Reyes has had a couple opponents that have fallen through already, and Torres fought just a month ago. So, I mean, I'm assuming in decent fight shape already, but this is a late notice fight for him. Really hard to predict how that's going to go, to be honest with you. Some guys really thrive on that late notice, no pressure type situation. I would imagine that, for some combat athletes, having a late notice fight for Contender Series, the biggest fight of your life, you don't have all that time to get in your head, do all that mental gymnastics that might fuck you up, So I think that could be a benefit for him. But like I said, I don't really know the guy at all. So it's really hard to tell whether this is going to be a benefit or a disadvantage for him. Javier Reyes is going to have an experience advantage. He's going to have he's got more quantity of fights in general, but he also has more quality in the guys that he's fought. He did get knocked out by Le'Veon Douglas, who just got a contract a couple weeks ago. There's not really any shame in that. After watching Le'Veon Douglas fight and how explosive that dude is, getting knocked out at the 145-pound division by that guy, I'm not really judging him too much on that. But, he's going to have the advantage in the sense that he's been in there with tough guys before. This is not the toughest guy that he's been in there with. But for Justin Torres, this is probably the toughest opponent he's ever faced. So it's really hard to tell. There's a lot of question marks in this fight that we're obviously going to get answered tonight. But it's kind of hard to predict. But I do like how Reyes has the quantity and quality in his opponents. Justice Torres will have a power advantage for sure when it comes to their striking, but he tends to kind of throw from the hip, side to side. So it's really, kind of easy for opponents to see when those strikes are coming. If he can create a brawl, that's where he's going to probably find the most success in the striking, if he can get in that range and kind of brawl it out and treat it like a fucking bar fight. Reyes is going to be a more technical fighter. He's going to want to treat it more like a technical fight. Just because he's more technical, like we already know, doesn't mean he's going to win the fight. But that's the route he's going to go. He's also probably going to have a grappling advantage. That's kind of a hole for Torres in the sense that I have seen footage of him getting taken down and controlled on the mat. And I can see definitely a veteran like Javier Reyes to go in and look to get this fight to the ground and control him and at least take some steam off him, take some steam off those punches. I got a couple props for you guys that I really like on this one. I like the KO prop from either fighter. We submitted that prop in last week as part of one of our parlays, and that one smacked. So I want to double down on that. A fight where they're not really expecting a knockout. I think that can happen in this fight. If either fighter wins by knockout, that prop is sitting at plus 225. This is Contender Series, where most of the wins come by way of knockout because guys are going out there and leaving it all on the line. So anytime a prop goes over plus 200 for either fighter to win by KO on Contender Series, and that's not female fighters, I have to jump on that one. So that's my favorite prop from this fight. I also like the submission prop from Reyes as well. He is more battle tested when it comes to the jiu-jitsu game than Torres. Torres, like I said, has shown he can be controlled on the ground. So that prop is sitting at plus 550, and that's a really nice, juicy prop too. Next fight up is the sole female fight on the card. We have Sofia Montenegro. I don't know if I'm allowed to say that, but that's her name. Versus versus Gisela Chavez. Montenegro is sitting at a minus 225 favorite, and Chavez is at a plus 185 underdog. There isn't really a lot of tape on Chavez, to be honest with you. She's only a 5-0 fighter. She's 6-0, I guess, technically, but Tapology and the MMA community has taken one of those wins away just because they said one of those wins the fighter just didn't display any reasonable path to trying to win the fight. So sometimes they do that. We've seen that before on Contender Series. A little bit sketchy, but I'm a math guy, and sometimes I do this when I notice somebody is fighting a lot of tomato cans in a row. And Chavez only has fought one girl in her entire career who actually has a win. Period. One girl. She's fought 2 or 3 girls who are 0-1, and I think that's worse than somebody being 0-20. Because 0-1 means you're not a fighter. You tried it once, you didn't like it, you're not a fighter. So you're going out, at least you're fighting somebody that's 0-20 or 1-20, whatever it is. They're fighters. They're showing up, they're trying to fight, they're trying to win. They might not be good at it, but they are fighters at least. So her combined record for opponents right now is 1-14. And that's because a lot of those opponents, like I said, are 0-1 fighters. A couple of them, there was one like 0-5 or 0-6 or something like that. 1-14. She has not fought anybody. It's not really much better on Montenegro's side, to be honest with you, though. She at least has fought opponents who have wins. So there's, I guess, a victory. But, this fight fucking sucks. I'm going to be honest with you guys. This fight sucks. I don't think either of these girls are UFC caliber. It's really hard for me to judge that because I'm not the greatest at judging WMMA. I'll be honest with you guys. But, neither of these girls are ready for the UFC. They kind of remind me almost, not in the fighting style, but just in the, if any of them get a contract, it's kind of similar to the last girl that fought, what's her name? Pereira. Yeah, that Pereira girl, who comes in with some hype. These girls have a smidge bit of hype, not like Pereira, but it kind of reminds me of that in the sense of none of these girls are ready for the UFC, and that's just the God's honest truth. So Chavez is 6-0 against tomato cans. Montenegro is 6-1, and in the one fight she lost, she got knocked out in 10 seconds. 10 seconds. What the fuck are we doing here? I don't know. That's concerning to me because obviously she doesn't have a chin that can withstand taking any type of punishment. She got knocked out in 10 seconds. The girl is not good. It's not like that girl is going around kicking the shit out of everybody. She's like a 4-4 fighter or something like that. So, with all this information that we have, and given the lack of, I guess, tape or footage that Chavez has, this one's really kind of hard to pick. But I think the decision prop for Montenegro is probably the route to go. That prop is sitting at plus 175. I don't really like it too awful much, but it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? She also has maybe a little bit of a jiu-jitsu experience or grappling advantage. So the submission for Montenegro is at plus 550. I can see some value in that too. But to be honest with you guys, I'd stay the fuck away from this one. Next fight up, this is a pick'em fight. This is going to be an exciting fight. We got Brahyan Zurcher who facing Murtazali Magomedov. Zurcher is at a minus 118 and Magomedov is at a minus 102. This is basically a pick'em fight. Zurcher has shown in the past that his wrestling is something that kind of gets him into trouble. He's doing the right things in the sense that he has gone to Dagestan to do training over there with those guys to improve his wrestling, and he for sure is going to improve his wrestling being in that room with those caliber of wrestlers. But, Magomedov has kind of lived the lifestyle of a wrestler his whole life. So when it comes to the grappling, I'm definitely going to lean towards Magomedov to have the advantage there. But that's not to say that he has the advantage everywhere. I mean, Zurcher probably has a striking advantage. He's definitely going to have the power advantage on his feet. He seems like he throws with more serious intentions to cause damage to his opponent. So when it comes to the striking, I think Zurcher is going to have the advantage. But, despite the fact that he's going to Dagestan and training with those guys, Magomedov is going to win scrambles and he's going to win the grappling exchanges. I got two pretty good props for you guys that I really like, both of them, but the fact is that they contradict each other. So I do believe one of them is going to hit. It just depends on which one, Zurcher, I think if he wins this fight, I do like him winning by knockout. And I like the prop on that too. That's sitting at plus 275. That is a nice parlay juicer. But if he doesn't win, and obviously Murtazali Magomedov, say that name 5 times fast. But I think if he wins, he's going to win by submission or decision. So that's a double chance prop. That's sitting at plus 150, and I really like that prop as well. And that moves us on to the last fight. We have Danny Barber versus Montes Kondratavicius. Probably pretty close, honestly, if you guys see his name. But Barber is sitting at a minus 130 favorite, and Montes is sitting at a plus 110 underdog. This is going to be a banger's delight. It really is. Both of these guys like to sit and trade in the pocket. They're both not very defensively sound. When Barber enters the void, he comes in. His defense is an explosive offense. So he's hoping he just throws so much stuff at you that you kind of just go away and fall down. But if somebody is able to stand in the pocket and trade with him, they're going to notice that his chin does tend to stay up. He's there to be hit. He's there to get counter-struck. And that's something that Montes can definitely do. But if you look at any footage from Montes as well, you're going to notice that he's also not very defensively sound. He has been put in trouble before. He's been knocked out before. No, he's lost by submission. But he has been wobbled before for sure on his feet. So, given the fact both these guys like to stand and trade, and they're both not very defensively sound, it's going to be a good fight for us, for as long as it lasts. And I do think that this fight is probably going to go by way of KO one way or the other. I said it's going to go by KO one way or the other, but that's not entirely true, honestly. Barber definitely is going to have the submission or the grappling advantage here. I think he's going to want to go in and get a highlight reel knockout. That's what gets you contracts on the Contender Series. That's what we're here to do. But if it's not going his way, I do believe that Montes has a huge hole in his grappling. He hasn't really been tested in the grappling, and the one time he did get tested, he lost by a rear naked choke submission. Barber, on the other hand, he splits his wins pretty much down the middle. He's got 4 KOs and 3 submissions and 7 victories. So he's a lot more battle tested when it comes to the grappling. So I do like the prop of, I think Barber's going to get this one done. I think he's going to get done by finish as well. I don't think this fight's going the distance. So the KO prop is sitting at plus 225, and I like that one. And then we also have the submission prop that's sitting at plus 330, and I like that one as well. I like them both equally, and you'll see that in my parlays. Okay, guys, parlay number 1 that I have for you. This one, I have Rafael Tobias to win this by submission. I think the ground and pound prop is also live on him, but I think the submission is probably going to be the most likely path to his victory. Obviously, De Oliveira could knock him out, and that would fucking suck, and I'd be kicking myself because I did call, that's a possibility in this fight card. In this fight, that's sitting at plus 550. Obviously, I'd take a plus 550 prop over a plus 140 prop any day of the week, but I do believe that Tobias is going to have the grappling advantage. De Oliveira's grappling is a giant question mark. We don't know how good it is, but we do know that he leans on his striking, whereas Tobias has shown that he has good grappling, and I think he's going to lean on that grappling to get, to go the path of least resistance. This is the biggest fight in his career, and he's going to want to show up and show out. And sometimes taking no risks and still getting your finish is the way to go. It shows how dominant you are. So I'm going to take Tobias on this one by submission at plus 140. Next up, we have Murtazali Magomedov by decision or submission. That prop is sitting at a plus 150. I can see three outcomes for this fight. That's two of them for sure, and the other one is Zurcher to get the knockout. I think Zurcher could definitely get a knockout. But I do trust the Mexican toughness and the Mexican durability in Zurcher to not get knocked out. So if this fight goes to decision, I think that Magomedov is probably going to have the advantage, because if it goes to decision, that means there's probably a lot of grappling exchanges, and he's going to win those. And if there is a lot of grappling exchanges, he's still going to have the opportunity to get submissions as well. So this double chance prop is sitting at a plus 150, and I like it a lot. The last one we have on this one is Danny Barber by submission. I do believe Danny Barber is going to get this fight done today, and I think he's going to get it done by finish. So, got to choose one on this one, and I'm going with submission on this one. I don't really have any logic or reason in this one. One parlay, like you're going to see, has him winning by submission. The other one has him winning by knockout. So that's already leg number 1, I guess, or leg number 3, and whatever you want to look at it for the next one. Parlay number 2, we have Javier Reyes versus Justin Torres to end by knockout. This is probably my favorite pick on the entire card as far as value that you get in the pick and likelihood of it happening. This is a Contender Series fight. I can definitely see both these guys have knockout power. They have shown in the past they knock dudes out. It reminds me a lot of the fight that we picked last week, where we said that the fight was going to end by knockout, and it was at plus 250 or somewhere around there. This fight has a lot of resemblance to that one. So it's my favorite pick on here. We're going to go with Javier Reyes versus Justin Torres, fight to end by KO at plus 225. Next leg on this one, we have Bryan Zurcher to win by knockout. Like we already said, this fight's going to go one of 3 ways. We got the other 2 covered on the other parlay, so I got to dabble with this one on this one. So Zurcher by knockout at plus 275. That gives me good. I feel very confidently that one of these legs is going to hit for sure on these parlays just by doing that. And then we're going to round this parlay out with Danny Barber by knockout. Like I said, I already believe that he's either going to win by submission or by knockout. So I went one way on one parlay, one way on the other parlay. So it's up to the gambling gods to help us out and give us a straight path to victory on this one. Hopefully we're not kind of close on both parlays, because that means they're both losing. Hopefully one of them is just 0 for 3, and then the other one is 3 for 3. And that's kind of what we're looking for here. So just maximizing our chances to win here. That's all I got for you guys today. Just want to give a shout out to my buddy Beer. He's going to have a little baby. I know you watched some of the videos, so just want to give you a shout out, bro. Congratulations, fan of the channel. Little baby Beer coming. So hopefully we can celebrate little baby Beer by nailing one of these 2 parlays. I'm super excited about it. That's all I got for you guys today. Enjoy the fights.